Welcome to a Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm starting a new series, an author that a lot of people don't realize was an author because he's best known as an illustrator, and that is Hannes Bok. We are Telltale Books, bringing you the best in literature, literary topics, and graphic design and bookmaking.
If you want to support us, you can find us on Etsy and Pango, where you can find gently used, rare, and even top quality used books.
And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and maybe even that bell to be notified when new videos go live.
Thanks for joining us.
His first story was published in Futuria Fantasia, Ray Bradbury's fanzine, and was titled Return from Death. Return from Death was published in the Futuria Fantasia fanzine in fall of 1939. I believe it was issue 2, under the pseudonym of Anthony Corvée. It is a very short story, really kind of flash fiction, although a little longer than a lot of Bradbury's own stories in Futuria Fantasia. Basic story, and it is short, so short synopsis. Robert and Ellen are parked in Robert's car, and he professes his eternal love, even that he'll come back to her from death. Hurrying home because it's late and he doesn't want her mother to be pissed at him, he crashes the car. Ellen is thrown clear and survives okay, but Robert is crushed under the car and dies. From there, the story describes Robert's trip into the afterlife, and then he comes back. I'm going to go ahead and spoil this. Spoiler alert. He comes back to Earth as a house cat, comes back to Ellen as a pet cat. It's not bad for an amateur effort. This is Hannes Bok's first published story. It was published in Ray Bradbury's fanzine because he and Bradbury were very good friends, and Bok contributed a lot of artwork to Futuria Fantasia, including that cover you see on the book back there. That's a painted rendition of an image he created, I believe, for the first issue of Futuria Fantasia. The artwork he did for Futuria Fantasia was just line art, and it was mimeographed in this, the whole magazine was mimeographed with this green ink. But strictly line art, strictly line, not a full painted, shaded, 3D looking illustration. So I think Bok must have done that later on because he wanted to. So it's pretty good for an amateur story. The twist ending was predictable but good and kind of humorous. The description of the afterlife and other world that he goes into first was pretty good and very imaginative. It definitely had a very weird feel to it, very imaginative feel, very otherworldly feel to it. So he did a good job, I think, on this first effort. Don't think this is anything you would want to be hunting down and reading unless you were really fascinated by Hannes Bok or Bradbury and Futuria Fantasia. Unless you're really into that and want to learn more about it, I can't see this of any value for anybody else to read. But it was an enjoyable story. So that was Bok's first. His second, which was actually published in the same issue, but I'll be reviewing that separately, is The Galloperd Forsendijk. If you've read these stories by Bok, please leave comments. Tell us more about it. Tell us what you know. Tell us what you think. And come on back for, like I say, Hannes Bok didn't write a whole lot. I'm going to go through everything I can get my hands on by Hannes Bok, literarily. And I'm going to save an overview video for talking about him as an illustrator and artist. I'll mention that he wrote stories in that video and talk in more detail about his life and other work. So these reviews are just going to be his fiction. And I'm going to focus on his fiction. It's going to be quite a while before I get to the Hannes Bok artist video. So stay tuned. Keep coming back. Got a lot of exciting things planned for this schedule, especially that whole artist thing. It's something I'm deeply passionate about. And the first one was kind of like an intro. We got into some interesting discussion, and it did go for a fairly long video, but I'm looking forward to getting a lot deeper with the artworks. And I'm not sure I'll get there with the second in that series, because the second is going to be, it's going to cover a huge amount of time, and it's going to cover a time period where art was almost exclusively in the service of the church. So it's going to be pretty much more of the same kind of art and the same purpose of art that you had in the ancient world, but now tied to the Christian church. So that one, I'll just show some major examples and move through the time fairly quickly. But then when we start to get into the Renaissance, I'll start to get into more individual artists and deeper thoughts about each of those artists and how they've impacted my life and how they are formulating my ideas about telltale books. I think that'll be interesting. Anyway, this is all about Hannes Bok. I'm going to talk about Hannes Bok when I get to him in the historical order. So, like I say, I'm back in, around 300 AD. I got a lot of time to move through a lot of artists to talk about before I get to the 1930s, 1940s, when Hannes Bok started illustrating. So come on back for all that stuff. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.